There are growing concerns that veteran guard Bria Hartley intentionally took out Sophie Cunningham, who's out for the rest of the season with a torn MCL. First off, look at this play. Bria Hartley clips Sophie, sends her down, and then she smiles. That's what set everybody off. If this was just a tough basketball play, fine, but the fact that she smiled after, it seems intentional. But let's be real, this isn't the first time Bria's been in the middle of some drama. She's been in fights before, she has that reputation, and she even liked a post celebrating her being that player. And now there are fans that are calling for her to get kicked out of the league. That's how serious people are taking this. Now I want to hear from you guys. Was this intentional or just a rough basketball play?
The WNBA has once again left fans stunned, and not in a good way. Sophie Cunningham just dropped a revelation that puts Lexie Hull in the danger zone, following Caitlin Clark and herself.
Murphy's Law is once again in full effect for the Indiana Fever as Sophie Cunningham is ruled out for the rest of the season. So, what does this mean? They signed a new guard
As potential targets. The trio fans dubbed the Tres Leches seems to be crumbling one by one. Cunningham, expected to be a spark for the Indiana Fever this season, is officially done for the year after tearing her MCL. But it's not just the injury that has fans rattled. It's what she said afterward. Sophie hinted that Lexie Hull, her own teammate, might be next in line to fall victim to what fans are now calling the WNBA's assault era. Let's rewind.
There are growing concerns that veteran guard Bria Hartley intentionally took out Sophie Cunningham, who's out for the rest of the season with a torn MCL. First off, look at this play. Bria Hartley clips Sophie, sends her down, and then she smiles. That's what set everybody off. If this was just a tough basketball play, fine, but the fact that she smiled after, it seems intentional. But let's be real, this isn't the first time Bria's been in the middle of some drama. She's been in fights before, she has that reputation, and she even liked a post celebrating her being that player. And now there are fans that are calling for her to get kicked out of the league. That's how serious people are taking this. Now I want to hear from you guys. Was this intentional or just a rough basketball play?
Caitlin Clark, the league's golden goose, has already endured more than her fair share of hard fouls, some looking accidental.
No, I don't, because I know Bria and I'm actually really good friends with Bria, and I have been waiting to get on the pod and so we could talk about this because I did want to tweet it out, but I don't think that there was no ill intent. I think it was basketball play. I was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. She fell. Like, there's no way that she would go in there and potentially try to hurt me. And so I have nothing but love for Bria. And I even told my mom, because she tweeted something. I was like, no, Mom, I get it. But I promise you that I was like, Bria and I are super cool. And she would never try to hurt me, because there are some girls that I think might, but she wouldn't do that. And so I have nothing but love. And so I hope people stop giving Bria some heat, because I don't think she meant to do that at all. And I think that smile, it wasn't it was ooh, one of those. So I'm totally fine.
Others suspiciously deliberate. Then came Cunningham. She collided with Bria Hartley in what appeared to be routine play. But when the photo surfaced of Hartley smiling as Sophie clutched her knee, fans erupted. Many called it intentional. Now, with Sophie's torn MCL confirmed and surgery looming, the suspicion has only intensified. On her podcast, Cunningham tried to play peacemaker, calling Hartley a friend and denying intent. But fans aren't buying it. The image of Hartley grinning as Sophie writhed in pain is burned into social media. And then came the
news. But the Indiana Fever have announced that Sophie Cunningham will be out for the rest of the season. Just to give a little recap about what happened, basically the Indiana Fever were playing the Connecticut Sun, and Bria Hartley, not shocking that it was Bria Hartley. Bria Hartley is involved in many messes in the WNBA, including recently getting ejected from the Chicago Sky game for getting into it with Ariel Atkins after pushing Becca Allen to the ground. She got into it with Rickea Jackson from the Sparks. She yanked Angel Reese's hair, and I know that there's another one that I'm missing.
Real bombshell. Sophie warning that Lexie Hull could be the next target. If you're keeping track, that's Caitlin first, then Sophie, and now possibly Lexie. All Fever players. All part of the same tight-knit group. all under fire. Coincidence? Many fans don't think so. If Lexie goes down, it won't just be a string of bad breaks, and it'll look like a coordinated effort to derail the Fever's future. The WNBA insists.
So the Indiana Fever did report tonight that Sophie Cunningham will be out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury. Now, initially, the Indiana Fever didn't even report what the knee injury was. They just said that it would be season ending. However, Alex Filippo, she reported that Sophie Cunningham did tear her MCL and that she would be out for the rest of the season.
It's just physical basketball, but at what point does physicality turn into targeted destruction?
This injury is such a huge blow for the Indiana Fever. Now they have Sophie out, Sid Colson out, Ari McDonald out, Caitlin Clark out. And I speculated this in my last video. I was like, I wonder if Sophie is actually out for the rest of the season, if this hurts our chances of seeing Caitlin Clark back on the floor this season for the Indiana Fever. And this is the last thing that I'll say about that podcast interview. As Sophie did mention, she talked about Caitlin Clark briefly and her recovery, and she basically just said, like, it is a day-to-day thing. Caitlin doesn't even know when she will be back, so she didn't really give any more information than that. But I think a lot of fans are speculating, will Caitlin Clark be back? Because Sophie is now out for the season, will the Indiana Fever risk it by bringing Caitlin Clark back? If Sophie is out, do the Fever even have a chance in the playoffs? Why would you bring Caitlin Clark back? Should you bring Caitlin Clark back? Will she be practicing this week? They have a tough stretch of games. Are they going to bring her back against a team like the Minnesota Lynx? We just don't know. And I, like I've said in the past few videos, I don't think Caitlin Clark is coming.
The NBA would never allow this. If LeBron James or Steph Curry took even one questionable hit, fines and suspensions would rain down. In the WNBA, silence. No accountability. No protection for its stars. That silence is fueling outrage. Cunningham's comments only poured gasoline on the fire, confirming what fans already suspected. There's a troubling pattern at play. And with Lexie Hull possibly next, the Treleches trio isn't just bonded by chemistry. They're bonded by becoming targets in a league that refuses to protect them.